Hello everyone, it's Andy Glenn here on Sharks TV and welcome to our podcast. It's Coach's Corner this week. I'm joined as always by Martin, but I guess we've got to start the show by just having a little chat about Kino and what has been an absolutely tragic week, Martin.
Yeah, obviously it's devastating news. Got the call on Monday, massive part of the hockey community. I think the outpouring of love that's been shown online it's been a comfort, obviously for his family, for Coventry as his employer and as a club, and spoke to Danny Stewart, and I know how well, the words Danny used, he was shattered by it. Had to speak to the staff for the GB team and then the players and my own kids, which was difficult, but he was a huge character. His legacy will live on by not only his coaching, but the amount of players that he's touched and their development. His journey was from Irvine, Kilmarnock to going south to learn his trade via Scandinavia, into Coventry, into the national teams. We've worked together now for 5 years, and I think probably spoke minimum 4 times, but sometimes every day for that 5 years. I think as we put out as a family on social media, he was part of our family. So just got to remember the good times. We send our love and our condolences and our thoughts to obviously his family, his kids, and I guess everybody that's come across him, friends in the sport. And personally, I as much as I'm heartbroken by it, I'll continue to do what we did and make him proud.
Absolutely. We forget he played 5 games for the Sharks, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it's, I guess, a strange one for me. He played for me in Division 2 that year. I was actually the instructor when he sat his Level 2 coaching qualification. So I suppose somewhere down the line you can blame me for him getting his coaching qualification. And then it came full circle, and as I say, we became not only coaching colleagues with the national team, but obviously great friends. And he was just a huge character. And it was, to be honest, someone that loved our club, even though it sounds a bit strange because he played 5 games. But when he was up here with the GB camps that we held prior to World Championships, he came on the practices, like this year's current team. He worked with that team. He'll be looking down now, still relatively happy at PK at the moment, but probably still wanting us to do some of the details that he worked on. That was a big source of video and chat with us on our PK. We've got guys in that team for Boydie played with him when he was a young guy, when Keeno actually played. Stentz's obviously played for me and him a good couple of times with our captain. Peams worked with him and was just as upset. And then you've got Callum McGill, who he was like his big brother, because Keeno and Callum's big brother Colin were kind of best friends growing up. So I know it's hit Cal hard. And then I just look and even the jersey you're wearing right now, like he was kind of part of helping. He spoke to David. I remember being in this rink and he spoke to David about the 5-on-3 company. Opened the door there. He met John last week when Coventry were playing Glasgow, and he was just larger than life. And I think everybody that came across him knows what he means. And it's still lost for words and so difficult to take, but the thoughts just go out there. And I say the connection to this club, I go back to Paul Heavey was a coach of this club. He was a mentor to Kino, and I know how upset Heaves is. Stuart Wilson was a coach with me here, and Stuart and Heather were so close to him, and thoughts go out to all these people as well. So could go on forever. I could really go on forever because he was just that person. And I'm just thankful the support this club's given me. From John, Dave and Phil, Peaks, Dunny, Jamie, obviously, and the players, the GB, some of these GB kids have called me and just made sure from my point of view I'm okay, which shows that our philosophy of people first is the right thing, and he was a huge part of that. And obviously with my own wife, Katie, that is going to be a bit of rock for me in the last few days, even though she's been upset and the kids have been upset. So we'll remember the good times, and we'll, as this club, we will do our best to make sure when he's looking down on us and he's smiling, because that's the kind of face and the man I'll remember. And it's that's what it is. The hockey community's had a lot to deal with this last season. It's just, for me, it's just one I never thought I'd have to deal with. So we just put our love out there to, more importantly, to his family and his kids. And I'm sure he's at peace now.
Absolutely, and of course, this weekend it'll be difficult for everyone, because there are players on the lead side when they come here that have been coached by him as well. So we ask for the proper respect for everyone involved this weekend. It could be a tough weekend for folks, so just be understanding. But that's what Sharks fans and Leeds Knights fans are, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough. Firstly, Coventry have to go to Belfast, and already your kind of thoughts turn to them. How tough that'll be for Danny and his team, that whole organisation, and the Belfast players. Then for ourselves, there's both teams have got guys that were close to him, played for him, and I think the whole hockey community this weekend, I've no doubt, will pay the fitting tribute to an unbelievable human being. And the one thing I will say, he will be up there absolutely hating the fact that people are calling him Dayle, because, to quote him, who's Dayle? He was Kino. It's as simple as that. He was Kino. And you've got to give him his Sunday name, but I think he told me in the summer, when he spent the whole summer here, that his mum, and then Katie called him Kino, and then normally it was when he was in trouble. So
that's your Sunday name, you know you're in big trouble if somebody uses your first name, don't they?
He won't be enjoying that part, but as I say, I think not just the Sharks and Knights fans, I'm sure the whole UK hockey community and beyond will pay as they have done online so far, they'll pay the most fitting of tributes to him. And I guess the most fitting of tributes will be the games going ahead and everybody playing, and hopefully the guys that have played for him and are going to remember some of the detail that he loved to get across to them, and we're going to play for him with a smile on our face.
Okay, well, just before we move on to look at last weekend and this weekend coming, it's just a small matter for us just to say that we dedicate this programme to Kino, and we send our love and care to all his family and friends. Okay, let's look back at last weekend, where we were on the high from the previous weekend of 3 points against Milton Keynes. It didn't quite transpire the way we wanted it to, did it?
No, obviously we go, like every weekend, you go into it looking for 4 points. We come off a huge 3 points the week before. To be honest, we had a really good week in practice. Thought that there was a bit of jump about the players, the excitement for the week before had filtered right through practice. And then, if I'm honest, obviously this is not a criticism of anybody, but I just felt it was really flat on Saturday. Like, I guess we're responsible as a team to get the fans into the game. And I think apart from that early power play goal, we never really done enough to get them into the game. And that, I think because the Milton Keynes games, it was so busy and so big, two big results for us, that it just felt a little bit different. a little bit
Just
flat.
a bit of a come down, really.
Yeah, a little bit flat, and maybe a come down's probably the right word.
But I have to say, Ross Murray decided to try and get the fans involved with a bit of a tilt with Powter. I think the problem with that one was it took forever after the fight to get the play back involved, and by that time the fans had kind of died down a bit. But it was nice to see Ross have a bit of a discussion with Mr. Powter.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, right? For older Sharks fans, I guess they become accustomed to that over the seasons. This year, by his own admission, he'd maybe lost his mojo a wee bit, as he said, and recently started to try and he's got that back a little bit more. He's started to get into a few altercations and have a few discussions, and that kind of pushing and shoving. He decided that was the time.
But I felt that was going to raise the fans, Mark.
Yeah,
at that point, I thought it was a good time.
I think that was the whole point of it. He was kind of showing that he was there for his team, he was there for his teammates, he was there for the fans. But like you say, a bit of the momentum probably got lost.
They had to clean up blood off the ice.
The time
and just slowed
scales.
everything down.
But still, ultimately, if I'm honest, I still think we've got to do better. We've got to do more. We had enough chances. I think we had enough chances to win 2 or 3 games. Ethan James, to his credit, was really good. But on the flip side, Ethan is obviously a smaller goalie than what we see in a lot of guys, and we let him see the puck too easy, and we never punished him for any of the rebounds. I think all in all, it was just a frustrating night for us. I don't think we played great. I don't think we played that bad either. It was just a very frustrating and kind of difficult night. But the biggest problem for us was then it was 2 points against a team that you're obviously in that dogfight with, and we wanted and we needed the 2 points.
Do you feel we got dragged into their style of play a bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's not disrespect to Sean and his team, because they knew how to play. I said to the players after the game, we kind of got out-playoffed, if it kind of makes any sense, that they were the playoff finalists last year. And now, let's be honest, these next kind of 12 games or whatever that's left, they're playoff games. They're playoff games for at least 3, probably Telford, probably 4 teams. And 2 into 4 obviously doesn't go. So I think we got out-playoffed with a little bit of know-how. They were big, they were strong, they were heavier. I think we outskilled them and we outchanced them. But their little bit of know-how kind of seen them through, and they're probably less, I don't know if you can call it structured, because I know Sean has structure in his team, but a little bit maybe less robotic than Milton Keynes. Like, I think Milton Keynes done their pre-scout on us. We're very similar. We done our scouting on Milton Keynes, and kind of what we thought would happen happened, and what they thought would happen. I've seen Tim's interview. He kind of roughly knew what was going to happen from our side. It became a bit of a chess match. And Saturday was more open, a bit more basketball, as we would call it, kind of up and down. And I think you've seen in the season, and we can't quite put our finger on it still, why that teams like that, the Raiders, the Steel Dogs, the Bees, we've kind of struggled a wee bit because it's a bit, it's a bit less structured. So we need to figure that out. We need to figure it out quickly, because it's all right saying, there was 14 and now there's 12 or whatever left, but they come at you really quickly. And we need to find a way to win these games and put points on the board, but we will. That's the key, is we will find that. We will find a way. We will we'll go back to work. We'll go back. We've already started making little adjustments this week in practice. Players are desperate to make the playoff switch is the main thing. So the players, the staff, right through the management and the ownership, and obviously then that obviously goes in the fans, because they're desperate for us to make it as well. But we will. I've no doubt in that. And even though we opened the show with talking about the tragedy, it's probably made me clearer and more focused now that we'll make the playoffs. We will. And I hope it doesn't come back to bite me when I'm sitting here in 6 weeks or whatever, but we know what we need to do. As do the other teams, but we need to do more than them. And Saturday was a difficult one. Sunday wasn't very great either in spells, but there was a lot more positives, and then we'll roll into this weekend.
If we stick on the Saturday's game, there was I think a key moment was Kel's 5-minute penalty. It was early on. We lost Kel for the rest of the match. We had Ross in the stands as well, Ross Connolly in the stands, which meant we saw more people in the defensive role, and then we obviously missed Kel for the next day. Firstly, is there any update from the Department of Player Safety on any further sanctions against Kel?
As we record this, no. We're actually just talking about this prior to going on air. It's usually Thursday, usually Thursday night. So as we record this, there's no further updates. I personally would hope there isn't. Would hope there's no additional ban. Broke it down as any coach would over the week, and yes, I think it looks a lot worse than it is. I'm not saying the call was wrong on the night, because I know why Daniel called it, and he came to the bench like any good official will and explained it, and we accepted that, but I don't think it merits any additional, if I'm honest. But
okay.
We're at the mercy of adopts now, and we'll see how we go. But excuse me, it left a hole. It left a hole without taking anything away for the other players. It left a hole for the remainder of that game, and obviously Sunday. But Kel's a big boy. He hates missing the games. He'll kind of suck it up, and we'll keep our fingers crossed that we don't get anything else. And if we do, even if there is an additional, we'll deal with it. We'll get through it, and we'll come out the other side better.
So moving forward to Sunday's game, away to Hull again. We've had a reasonable record against Hull, and I have to say, watching the stream with a couple of minutes to go when we pulled the keeper again and got one back, I was thinking, sure. I mean, it's rare. You've said it many a time to pull a keeper and get 2 goals back, but I did think Lightning was going to strike twice.
Yeah, I mean, that Hull game was a crazy first 5 minutes.
Oh,
we never got
so many goals in the first 5 minutes.
We just never got started properly in our structure. We gave up 3 goals for 3 shots.
I have to say, I was getting worried after five minutes, but I think fair play to you and the team, who we steadied the ship and dragged ourselves back into it, didn't we?
Well, I think when they went 2-0 up, then Peake scores to make it 2-1, and we probably needed to hold that a little bit longer. We gave up a soft goal from a team perspective to go 3-1. But then, like you say, we steadied it. We started creating some chances. Just think the goals, in general, the goals we lost there are a wee bit unlike us, but they're, albeit they'd come on the back of a few defeats. They had been flying before that. Obviously, they've changed. They brought Sobchak in as import ahead of Bobby Young, and that's helped them. Like the guys,
have to say, I thought he played really
well.
He's a good player.
He's a good player. He'd been in the league before with Bristol. Thought we gave him a wee bit too much ice to play in, if I'm honest. But I guess that's for another day. But when I really thought when we started playing, we imposed ourselves on the game. Obviously, then when you pull the goalie the first time you score, we give ourselves a chance. When I looked over when we get back to 5-4, and they'll deny it because it's always we played.
They were worried.
Well, let's be honest, right? Every interview I watched, like, they played bad. We could never be good, and well, I'm a bit fed up with that, right? We beat them 3 times before that. We were 3-1 up in the series. We're now 3-2 up in the series. So if they've been really bad for that amount of games, that's their problem. But when we scored, they had fear in their eyes, 100%. And then for me, there was a horrible, horrible call. 25 seconds to go. There was a blatant icing on the play. Olivier kind of half stops because the whole building thought it was an icing.
Yep.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and patronise anybody and say we would have scored off it, but we might have, because we've done it before. And all we asked for was a chance to tie that up for that face-off. We had a set play. We knew what we wanted to do, and that was a bit hard to take, that we never got that chance to. But on the flip side, we had 59 and a half other minutes to be better. So they were more clinical on us in the night. Thought Curtis was solid on Sunday after that first crazy 5 minutes where he never really had any chance to make these saves, but gave us a chance to win. We grew into the game. We controlled parts of it, and maybe 30 seconds more we might have got something out of it. But the other games, I feel that we've probably got to win. Like, we've won there before, and I know they're a good team. Like, I talk about every other team with a bit of respect, where I think they are a good team, but they brought everybody back. Like the Thursday night, they had
a lot of
they were
suspensions.
supposedly so injured it was unbelievable, but all of a sudden everybody was fit. Yeah. So for me, that tells you how much they needed to try and beat us, and how much they knew we were a good team, as much as they'll not admit it. So
I think it'll be interesting if we do make the playoffs and we're in Hull's section. I don't think they'll particularly fancy playing us at all.
I think when we get to playoffs, anybody will take anybody, I suppose. For our point of view,
anybody.
I mean, for their point of view, they're obviously almost guaranteed to be in now mathematically. So I guess they're not going to care. They'll take whoever. But for us, we first and foremost we need to get into the playoffs, which, as I said earlier, we will. We'll get in there. I'm not sure anybody fancies playing us, especially here. We can also pick things up on the road, but more importantly, we need to get in there. It just shows, I guess. So, I mean, in one respect, credit to Matty and his group, because they've went from a bottom feeder, I suppose, first year team, less points than what we had. They struggled in their first year to building a team that's fourth, I think, right now. So, in one respect, credit to them. But as a first year team, we're pushing everybody.
Yeah.
We're pushing everybody, and I think we've had Craig was on here not long ago explaining the fact that none of these players played in this league. Kel played a few games in Hull. Callum played one game in a cup final, thrown into a cup final. But you look at everybody was either the league above, the league below, or coming in for North America. Callie, I suppose, since when we brought him in, but he wasn't at the start. So, I think that Sunday was a game that we were a wee bit more focused. We could have, and maybe should have won. So we've got to be better in that aspect. A 0 point weekend, let's not sugarcoat this, a 0 point weekend is disappointing, and it's kind of unacceptable now going in
at this time of the season
through this running.
Yeah.
But as I said to the players after the game, even if we had won, we weren't in the playoffs on Sunday night, and we weren't out the playoffs on Sunday night. So it's now about refocusing and making sure we're ready for this weekend. It's a big weekend. It's the defending champions and a team that look like they're going to go over the line again, come into our building, probably smarting for the last time they were here, and then we get straight back on the horse and get a chance at the Raiders again. We've had success there, so we'll be ready. We'll be ready, and we're now looking forward to picking up points this week after a disappointing weekend that's gone.
The other probably big news from the weekend is clubs have started to announce re-signings. Hull's just re-signed Jordan for another couple of years, and we re-signed Kel Beattie. That was announced on Saturday night here. Your thoughts on that?
Delighted. It was actually shook on, we'll say, kind of verbally done on 27th, ironically against Hull, the 27th of December, I suppose that now infamous comeback win. I wanted to, he kind of got the discussions on Christmas Day at the Thompson family's dinner table. I then kind of grabbed him straight away, and then it was actually John and I in the bar almost finalising, shook hands on it there. So it was just about finalising and kind of dotting some I's, crossing some T's. And as a club, we've watched him grow. He's been here since he was a young boy. But I think this year, and for me, coming out of the championships in December, I remember saying firstly to my wife, and then even to the owners and to Peaks and Dunny, that he kind of went in there as a boy, and he came out as a man. Something changed in that tournament. That it was a home tournament. He was very good in it, and the responsibility that he had, and scoring some goals in the power play, and I think his mindset just changed. And for me, he's one of the, if not the best defensemen of his age in the country. So I think it's a massive re-signing for us. It's a statement of intent, early doors. but believe me, he's not the last one that will be either re-signing or signing for this club, because we only have one thing in our mind, and that's improving our standing, improving where we are, and showing that we're here. Like, we're here. We mean business. We're not going to stand still. We're not going to accept kind of mediocrity, because it's never been done in the past, and it will not be done in the future. And that's led for the top down with the ownership. They set that vision, and of course we all buy into that. So it's a really, really, really good first signing, and I guess watch this space. We'll hopefully get a few more over the line and start building this team to compete and win things again.
It was great. It was great in the bar afterwards when it was announced. If you weren't at the bar, why no? Get up the stairs. Heard the news directly from Mason, getting the crowd going and all the rest of it. Owen was doing brilliant on the mic, and fans were high-fiving each other. And it's great to hear that there are other signings on the way. Clearly, Kel's not as much of a diva as Liam Stenton, who's wanting underfloor heating. What's going on there?
I'm surprised it's no hairdryers and straighteners with that hairdo he's got right now. But no, I mean, I think that Kel, as I say, Kel's is more of a diva than you think. I'll say that behind closed doors. But no, I mean, he's the thing with Kel, a solid upbringing, great family, and that was key for us. We've always said it's people first, and we're excited to have him back for 2 years, and let's see where that takes him and us and everybody's careers and for there. Stents again, another one that if he's wanting underfloor heating, then I suppose we'll have to find somebody that can put that in the dressing room, right? So any underfloor heating specialists, reach out. But
get his socks in the microwave for 10 seconds, and it's the same thing. They're warm. Come on, get on with it.
I think the one thing I'd say from the conversations with all these players up in the bar is, thankfully they enjoy playing here. Yeah. So I think the conversations, let's be honest, there's going to be some easy ones. There's also going to be some difficult ones. But ultimately, we want good people here. They seem to want to be here. So we'll keep taking this club forward. And like you say, if you've not been up the bar to hear either of these players talk or hear the announcements or buy a drink,
buy a drink.
Get up the bar.
I think that is the thing, though, as well, is the profile of the Sharks through things like the podcast, the social media things, the streams, the game night experience. There's an excitement about the Sharks, and folk want to be on that journey. And it's, if you're in the team, you're doing well to be in the team type thing. There'll be a lot of demand for people. I mean, you'll be inundated with players wanting to play for the Sharks, I've no doubt. Yeah,
I mean, obviously, we have done it for years, and Jamie's been involved, and this year, obviously, Craig, a lot more so as general manager. But there's the same spreadsheet, if you want to call that, or kind of realistic targets where we see we can improve. There's a couple of fantasy targets in there that if people become available for other teams, or if they lowered some of their demands, then you might be able to pick guys up, because ultimately I think the key to this team is that we all want success, right? For top to bottom, for on ice to off ice.
But we have to be sustainable long term as well, don't we?
And obviously people that have seen, John being on the 9 Million podcast he's been on.
Has he been on 9 million? I thought it's just
short of that. But and that's the goal. It's been the goal for the start. Success is obviously the goal, but it's long-term sustainable business. Hence why, when much has been made of the first phone call that John and I had, that I bent his ear for longer than I think I was meant to, and then we sat in the office, and 15 minutes, as he's openly admitted to, that kind of courtesy meeting become, how do we turn this into a powerhouse? And ultimately that's still what we want to do, right? So it's finding the right people, but it's making sure that we've built this as a business, not only just a hockey club. And the players are a big part of that, because they're the face of it. They're the ones people see on the ice. They've got to carry themselves in the right way. They've got to represent this club on a daily basis, whether they're wearing apparel, whether they're practicing, whether they're doing their shopping. or whether they're out in the schools, as you can see, for community programming, which has been massively successful. And by getting the right people, we'll have success. And when you have success and you have the brand that we do, then players are going to want to play here. And it's a nice position for us, a club, to be in, because then we're in control of ultimately what we want and what we don't want. And again, that's not a disrespect to any player out there that maybe thinks they want to be here, but we want to be in control as a club when we're recruiting, like any business would, of who's the right fit, both as a person and as a player, to represent this club, because it's not an easy job. You have to do it the right way. And we've got a lot of options. We do have a lot of options, and we'll pick the right ones. And yeah, we're only going to go one way, and that's trending upwards.
That's good to hear. And just when you mentioned there about the schools programme, I just remembered that John Strange had said to me that we've got 16 school kids coming up from Carlisle at the weekend as well. That's really good as well. So we need to keep building with that. Okay, Martin, and part of the show, what's my favourite bit, where we get to look at the goals with your insight. So let's have a look at these goals from the weekend.
Yeah, I guess it's maybe not always our favourite bit, Andy.
That's generally my favourite bit, because you learn things here.
Well, obviously we'll start at the obvious part, the Raiders game at home on the Saturday. I think we get a goal early. We get a wee chance there on the power play with Dunny showing some good skills, but we've been a bit more patient now. We've got Livy moving to the middle of the blue line so he can walk up and down. He moves over and makes a good pass here to Peaks. Guardsy's where Guardsy is. You can see the strength that he shows to get his body in the right position, stick on the ice, and
he's a cracking goal scorer, isn't he?
Scores a good goal, and yeah, I think he's turned into an actual goal scorer, like a right good goal scorer now. I think I'd be surprised if it isn't the end of the season with 50 or certainly close to it. So it's nice to see him doing what he's been doing. Then we got ourselves, just in a bit of a spot where we're still constantly looking to attack. We get ourselves in a 2-on-2 situation here. At this point, kind of right here, we've got good numbers back. The puck's bouncing about. We can see Cal tried to get that there, kind of control his own rebound. But I guess at this stage, it's about to start bouncing around everywhere. We got to either try and get that puck behind the goal line or tie sticks up. And we could see it's kind of bouncing. The guy goes to poke it. Callum actually turns to try and find it and puts it in the net, which is just a bit disappointing and sloppy for us. This one, we knew they were going to shoot the puck initially. We had discussed kind of the way they played, so we're 2-on-2 in the corner. Hypercritical, we might need to be a wee bit better on the exit. But when we get to this stage, just as the pass has been moved, we'd talked all week about, and in the pre-scout, about they play what we call a 2-3. So we could kind of see Prevost here. He's up high. We kind of need our defenseman, which is a little bit alien, but we need our defenseman to come and take some ice away. Maybe Kieran to come in a wee bit and just take that spot, but gets it on his stick and off his stick really quickly, and obviously goes on to score a hat-trick. So we've got to be a bit better there. And this one, we turn the puck over at the blue line now. I'd like to see that go deep. The players know that we need to get pucks in behind teams. Don't turn over at the blue line. But we've got time to get back and get set. And unfortunately, this one, as you see for the shot, it just squeaks through Cal's arm. By his own admission, he'd obviously love that one back. Disappointing. This one is probably the most disappointing of the night, where we'd actually just killed the penalties. As this puck gets sent down, I think you can see the clock in the background. It's like there's 4 seconds now on that. And literally, we just as we get our guy back out of the box, uses Kersey as a screen, and to be fair to him, it's a good finish. But we thought we'd killed the 5 minute and we'd get a bit of momentum. And then again, for our point of view, I think we go back on special teams. We're patient again because our 5-on-3's not been great. A bit of criticism. We've criticised it ourselves on here. So we changed the structure a wee bit, moved the setup and shot the puck more, and we got our rewards on that shot. Maybe it wasn't the tidiest, but if you don't shoot and you're on the position, you don't score. Again, we go back in the power play. We're patient. Back to Olivier being back in the middle and being able to move. He makes a and the goalie makes a good save, but Peaks was just back that shift for being injured the shift before with a bit of a stray stick, so he was in where all good goal scorers are, ready to shoot the puck, and we got ourselves back. This last goal with technical issues on it regardless, but penalty shot goal. Not sure it was a penalty shot, if I'm honest. Like, I look at probably by the letter of the law it is, but I think our argument would be that he got his shot away.
That's what we were saying in stream. Ross Connolly was saying that in stream, that we got the shot away.
Like he got ahead of Struan, he got his shot away. Struan's going to try to put him off, obviously, with a bit of a stick, but probably there. Our special teams was decent. We're probably maybe looking for a. I guess if you save it, you're kind of going, well, good choice. But you're maybe looking at saying, well, we're doing decent on the kill at that stage. So
the Trevo was on fire, and
yeah,
I think he took his penalty shot well.
He finished it well. I guess the argument was, I think, under a minute to go, Dunny walks across the net front and tries to shoot in the open side, gets hooked. Fair enough, they gave a penalty, but
yeah,
he never got his shot away, and we're kind of looking for the same thing. But that's what it is. The Raiders took their chances. We had enough chances to win 2 games, and unfortunately we never. And we came out with 0. Then you kind of move on to the video of the Sunday game, and as we discussed, we started a bit slow. It was a bit frantic. And this is a minute and a half or so in. We've kept them outside the dots, but as soon as we let Sobchak walk past our defenseman, they tie the guy up at the net. Soft from our side, but decent skill and patience for the guys. They'll be happy with it. This one, I just thought this one was too easy, if I'm honest. Where we're in a controlled forecheck, he doesn't quite catch it, but he makes a long pass, and we give up the blue line here way too easy. And then we're caught in that 2-on-1. There's not a lot Curtis can do about that at that stage in the game. And, probably 3 minutes, 3.5 played, we'll find ourselves down. But we battled back, even early. They obviously smelled blood at this stage, and they were coming hard at us. But give Kersey a lot of credit here on the exit. He takes the ice, he makes sure we get over the blue line, makes a little nice drop pass to Dunny. He sees Peaks going where all good goal scorers do, and it was a nice wee tip through McLaughlin's legs. So that was a good goal for our point of view. But we need to hold on to that for a bit longer, because, again, we get the puck out the zone here. Maybe a wee bit of luck, but we get up ice. That one pass beats too many guys. We give up a one-time opportunity, and if you give Svek a chance like that, big heavy shot, that's, fortunately for us, it's ending up in the net. So, again, just got to be better. Then I thought we were better here in the second period in our zone. We exit a little bit quicker here. We make a little pass off the wall. Gardsey gets his legs going. Scotty's going towards the net. And that's a good shot. McLaughlin gets a piece of it. But I don't think you're saving that just because it's a hard shot. It's a quick shot. And got us back in the game. And I thought we were better in that second period. Then we again, we're in a kind of D-zone structure. We're not in a bad spot. It's outside the dots. We kind of got to be better. But then, if Dunny beats Bartholomew there, we go 3-on-1. That's a risk and reward there. Unfortunately, he's got a big stick and he just manages to keep it in, and we find ourselves a couple of goals down. And we go into the third period knowing that you got to win a period, you get something out of it. But just before the end of the second, we show character. Peaks with a shot, and please for Cali here, he was in that slot area. And he needed a goal. A couple of weeks without one, and he needed it. Showed some good patience and some tenacity to get there. And we feel we're in a good spot here. We're going forward. We're looking at, again, the Bartholomew stick. We give up a rush. Still, it's another odd man rush again. We got to tie up in that Sobchak. We got to tie stick up. We got to lift that stick off the ice, and just again felt just a little bit too soft from our point of view when we're breaking that down. And then we go back into high risk territory. We pull the goalie. I like the fact that we were patient, even on the block shot there. And, we remained patient on the puck, but we're getting pucks to the good areas. And again, Cali was in a good area in the slot. Brings us to within one. And I think, like we discussed earlier in the show, we had that opportunity we felt on the ice, and it wasn't called to maybe try and, I say, I'm not saying for a second we would have scored, but maybe try and tie it up. So I think the difficulty is, like I said before, we watched that game, especially in Slough when I watched it with John, when I was suspended and meant to be on the bench. You see a lot more from behind the goals, and that Bees game, I guess the Raiders, there's the Seahawks, where probably 90% of the time we've had the puck on our stick. So we've got to be better on the exits. We've got to be quicker and better in our decision making. We're doing decent right now. We're doing well right now in our special team, so we can focus, win the 5-on-5 battles, tie or better on these. Then we'll give ourselves a chance. But we'll go back to work this week. We'll make sure that we get these things right. We'll tidy them up. And as much as it's disappointing to get 0 points at this stage on any weekend, we just need to refocus, find a way to be better, and we're looking forward to this weekend and getting something out of it. But I think over the weekend there's as with any game, there's definitely some coaching and teaching points, especially when I think that a few weeks ago when I was having to watch the game in Slough, the Bees game, watching the game from behind the net as opposed to the bench, and I watched it with John, and you see so much more. And I think just that was the disappointment, even going back to that game, that the goals we're giving up right now, the puck's on our stick 99% of the time. So we've just got to look at our exits out of the zone. Our decision-making process is maybe got to be not only better, but a little bit quicker. Because every time it seems that we make a bad decision, we get punished. And, we were on that good run around Christmas and into January and stuff. We were doing that to teams. So we've got to get back to finding our way out of our zone quicker, finding a way to limit the mistakes, make less mistakes in the opposition, and make sure that we punish teams. And ultimately, at least, I say our special teams, I think all 3 goals on Saturday were on the power play. We got a couple on the Sunday. That has to stay hot. Our PK was really good Saturday. Never conceded any, and even, let's say it was second or two after the 5 minute. So we've got to keep that hot and now start winning the 5-on-5 battle. And you win that, we give ourselves a great chance. We've got to find a way to get a couple of points at least this weekend and look at the other results going our way, so that ultimately right now, as we all know, we've all looked at it a million times, we sit in 9th. You've got to find a way to get in at least to 8th, and then ask if that would normally mean the Bees below us, but you've got to ask them then to try and catch us. And you're ahead of our team rather than we're the ones doing the chasing right now. But we'll embrace that. We'll find ways. We'll come into this weekend on the back of, I guess, a week of practice, a week of small changes, and we'll come in here on Saturday to play the champions, the reigning champions. That last time we were here was an absolute barn burner. It was an unbelievable night for us, but both sets of fans, much like the MK game, made it great. It was a Friday night hockey there, and we've got to replicate that result.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming in and chatting through the games with us, Martin. As always, you'll have the final message to fans in front of the game against Leeds here on Saturday. So over to you.
Yeah, we said it last time, we're in a dogfight, there's no doubt about it. But we need you to remain patient, we need you to remain with us. You've been unbelievable for the season so far. Don't lose your faith in us now. And amongst this week's tragedy, I can tell you my focus and this team's focus is renewed. And with your support and everybody pulling in the right direction, we'll make this playoff final 8 and beyond. And just lastly, Kino, you're up there. We're going to do it for you, pal.
Martin, thank you so much. And what has been a difficult week for you personally as well. We really appreciate your time and efforts here. Everyone, thank you so much for watching the podcast. Keep tuned. There's going to be a few more coming out in the next few days. This is Andy Glenn saying cheerio.